If you're tired of looking into your neighbor's kitchen from your deck, you want space, you want privacy, but every time you search for a home with more than an acre, you hit a wall. Either it's over $1 million, it's a complete teardown, or it's so far out of your commute, it becomes a part-time job. 30 minutes west of the towns everyone's chasing, you can get 5 acres with a newer home for less money. Most buyers never look here because they don't know where there is. Hey, I'm Jim Stevenson, a realtor here in the Philadelphia suburbs. I've worked with hundreds of families who were trying to figure out exactly where they should land in this area. If you're ready to narrow down your search and want help thinking through your options, go ahead and book a call with me using the link below. We'll map out what matters most to you and which towns actually fit. And if you're still in research mode, scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to grab my free Philadelphia Suburbs relocation guide. It'll walk you through everything you need to know before you start looking. Here's what most people get wrong about buying land in this area. They assume more space means more money. That's not always true. Delaware County has the lowest median home price of the 4 suburban counties, but it's actually the worst place to find acreage. I call this the Acreage Anomaly. Towns like Chaddsford, Thornbury, Edgemont, they cost just as much as expensive Chester County. You're paying $700,000 to $1 million for elite school districts like Garnet Valley and Rose Trees Media. Meanwhile, that same $700,000 in northern Chester County gets you 3 to 5 acres in Owen J. Roberts. Also highly rated. Same price, completely different amount of land. If you want space, you need to know exactly where the value hides. Let me break down the best townships in each county where your money goes the furthest. Let's start with Chester County because this is where the absolute best land values are. Oxford area, Lower Oxford and East Nottingham townships. This is the cheapest land in the entire region. Median home price sits around $510,000. But here's what makes it really remarkable. That $510,000 typically gets you 4 to 5 acres, sometimes more. You will not find that combination anywhere else within an hour of Philadelphia. This is farm country, rolling fields, former agricultural properties. The trade-off is commute. 60 to 70 minutes to Center City via Route 1. You're in Oxford Area School District, which is a solid rural district. If your priority is maximum land for minimum money and you're remote or hybrid, this is the top spot in the region. West Fallowfield and Highland Townships, the Cochranville area. Even more land for your dollar than Oxford. Median home price around $450,000 for 5 acres. This is the far southwest corner of Chester County, bordering Lancaster. Extremely rural, farm belt, not a lot of retail around, but if you want 5 to 10 acres and you work remotely, this is one of the better options in the area. Commute is 70 to 80 minutes via Route 30. Honeybrook area, northern Chester County near the Berks line. Median home price around $475,000 for 4 acres. You're in Twin Valley School District. This area is quiet and about 70 minutes out via the Turnpike of Morgantown. Good mix of older farms and some newer homes on large lots. Last year I showed a place in Honeybrook, 4.2 acres, mostly flat, listed at $485,000. Buyers couldn't believe the price compared to what they were seeing in Doylestown. Same square footage, 4 times the land. Now at this point, you might be thinking the only trade-off is commute time, and that's part of it, but the bigger issue most buyers miss isn't distance, it's what's under your feet. And here's where buyers get burned when they really chase acreage. I call this the usability trap. They picture a flat yard, but a lot of bigger lots in this region are sloped, wooded, or restricted by conservation rules. So let me show you where that actually matters most. Bucks County, where terrain becomes a real factor. Springfield Township in the Palisades area, median home price around $520,000, but the median lot size is 4 acres. Strong value for the amount of land. Here's the catch though. This is a very rural and very hilly area. Lots of properties run down steep slopes toward the creeks and like Delaware River. You might own 5 acres, but only 1 or 2 acres might be flat enough to actually use. The rest is really a wooded hillside. And that's fine if you want total privacy and views. It's not fine if you need a flat yard for your kids to play or a pool. You're in Palisades School District, good, small, rural district. Commute is 70 to 80 minutes via Route 309. Tinicum Township, Upper Bucks, right on the Delaware River. This is one of the most misunderstood townships in the region. Median home price shows up around $280,000, but that number is really misleading. It's dragged down by seasonal cabins and 1940s river cottages. The real acreage homes here are $550,000 to $1.2 million. At 625, you can get 3 to 5 acres. Push to 900 and you're looking at 5 to 10 plus acres. Strong value if privacy is your priority. The trade-off again is commute. 75 to 100 minutes from Center City, 60 to 80 minutes from King of Prussia, but only 40 to 50 minutes from Princeton. If you're remote or commuting to central New Jersey, Tinicum is really hard to beat. Here's the part nobody tells you until inspection. Tinicum is steep. Walk every property before making an offer. Milford Township, the Quakertown area. This is the upper Bucks value with better usability. Median home price around $450 for 2 to 2.5 acres. This is a sweet spot. You're getting decent sized lots without the extreme slopes of Tinicum. Many properties are former farmland, which means flatter, more usable yards. Commute is 50 to 60 minutes via the Turnpike. You're in Quakertown Community School District. No train access, but Turnpike access is close. If you want 2 to 3 acres in Upper Bucks without the steep terrain, this is a good option. Plumstead Township, just north of Doylestown. Median home price around $625 for 2 acres. Higher than the other Upper Bucks options, but here's why people pay for it. You're in Central Bucks School District, one of the top districts in the state. You're also close to Doylestown Borough, which gives you walkable downtown access and the SEPTA train if you need it occasionally. Commute is 50 to 60 minutes via Route 611. This is the Bridge Township. You get acreage plus proximity to civilization. If you need Central Bucks schools and 2 to 3 acres, Plumstead is one of the few places where that combination exists under $1 million. Here's where the math actually swings your decision. Keep in mind, a lot of people overpay because they think a big lot means a big usable yard, and that's not always the case. Let's talk Montgomery County, where you get a totally different product. Douglas and New Hanover Townships, the Gilbertsville area. This is Montgomery County's answer to affordable acreage. Median home price around $425 to $480 for 2 acres. What makes this different from Bucks and Chester is the housing stock. A lot of these areas saw building booms in the 1990s and 2000s, so instead of old farmhouses, you're finding 1990s and 2000s colonials on 1 to 2 acre lots. Modern homes, central air, 2-car garages, 2,800 to 4,000 square feet, but sitting on acreage. Commute to King of Prussia is 50 to 60 minutes via Route 422. You're in Boyertown Area School District, good district, rated A-, not elite like some Chester or Delaware County districts, but a solid choice for families who want land over a top 5 ranking. The downside is Route 422 traffic during rush hour. If you're hybrid, it's manageable. If you're going in every day, factor that stress in. Upper Salford Township, the Harleysville area. Median home price around $455 to $550 for 2 acres. You're in Souderton School District, which families target for solid academics. Commute to King of Prussia or Conshohocken is 30 to 40 minutes via I-476. This is one of the closer acreage options that still gives you 1 to 3 acres. Rolling hills, private, but still connected to suburban infrastructure. I just worked with a family who closed on a 4-bedroom, 4,300 square foot home on 3.26 acres for $725. Great lot, flat yard, modern systems. What that actually means is you're getting a house, built in the last 30 years with a yard your kids can actually use, not a steep wooded hillside. Here's the catch with all Montgomery County acreage. You're usually on septic and well. Not hard to manage, just different if you've never done it. Plan on pumping the septic every 3 to 5 years at about $400 a pot. And test your well water annually. Upper Perkiomen Valley, Upper Hanover and Marlborough Townships near Pennsburg. This is really an overlooked pocket. Median home price around $400,000 for 2 to 3 acres. Very low density, farms, lakes, rural feel. Commute is 60 to 70 minutes via the Turnpike. You're in Upper Perkiomen School District, and this area is tucked at Montgomery County's northern tip. Most buyers overlook it, which is why the prices stay lower. If you find a property here, it's often a solid value. You just have to accept you're driving a bit to reach job centers. Now let's go back to Chester County for the areas that balance acreage with a more manageable commute. East Coventry and North Coventry Townships, just south of Pottstown. Median home price around $525 to $540 for 2 acres. You're in Owen J. Roberts Schools. This district is one of the better values for families who would otherwise be looking in Lower Merion, Tredyffrin, or Radnor, but don't want to spend, $1.2 to $2 million for a half-acre lot. Commute to King of Prussia is 25 to 35 minutes via Route 422. Solid option for hybrid workers. Just be ready for that same 422 traffic I mentioned. What's interesting is you're getting a 1990s or 2000s home on 1 to 2 acres in a highly rated school district for under $700,000. And that combo doesn't exist closer in. West Kane and West Brandywine townships, west of Coatesville. Median home price around $400,000 for 2.5 acres. This is one of the few areas within an hour of Philadelphia where you can still get 2 to 3 acres at this price. Commute is 55 to 65 minutes via Route 30. The caveat is you're in Coatesville area school district, which is lower rated than some of the other Chester County options. But if schools aren't your top priority and you want acreage close to the city, this is a practical option. Typical half-acre lot in a walkable town like Newtown or Doylestown Borough runs $700,000 to around $900,000. That same $700,000 gets you completely different amounts of land depending on where you buy. Oxford area, 4 to 5 acres. Cochranville area, 5+ acres. Honeybrook, 4 acres. Quakertown area, 2 to 2.5 acres. Springfield Palisades, 4 acres. Plumstead, 2 to 3 acres with Central Bucks schools. Gilbertsville, 2 acres. Upper Salford, 2 to 3 acres. Upper Perkiomen Valley, 2 to 3 acres. North Coventry, 1 to 2 acres. West Coatesville area, 2 to 3 acres. Same budget, completely different lifestyles. At today's rates, that extra $200,000 you'd spend in a walkable borough instead of these acreage towns is roughly $1,300 to $1,400 a month in your payment. So basically you're paying a second car payment every month just to be closer in and more walkable. You're trading walkability and commute time for space. That's the decision. But here's what nobody explains until you're under contract. This is the part that can cost you $20,000 to $30,000 if you're not careful. A lot of this open land is legally protected. Conservation easements, agricultural preservations programs like clean and green tax status. These are restrictions on the deed that can limit where you build, whether you can add a pool, what types of fences you're allowed, and how much land you can clear. And if you buy a property enrolled in clean and green and you change its use, like building a big addition or subdividing the lot, you can get hit with 7 years of rollback taxes plus 6% interest. So that can be tens of thousands of dollars you didn't budget for. So this is why you need a real estate attorney who understands land transactions, not just your typical, suburban closings. And one last thing to factor in. Owning 2+ acres isn't just a mortgage payment. If you outsource yard work, expect a few $100s a month during the growing season. Add septic pumping, tree work, and driveway maintenance, and you're looking at usually an extra $500 to $700 a month in total land upkeep. And that's real money that changes what you can actually afford. I've seen families get 6 months in and realize they're spending more on land upkeep than they budgeted for, for their entire monthly payment. So don't let that be you. So where should you actually buy? If you want the absolute most land for the lowest price and you work remote or you're commuting to New Jersey, look at Oxford, Cochranville, or Honeybrook in Chester County, or Springfield and Tinicum in Upper Bucks. These are your 4 to 10 acre options under $600,000. If you need a modern house on 2 to 3 acres and a manageable commute to King of Prussia, look at Gilbertsville, New Hanover, or Upper Salford in Montgomery County. These are your 1990s plus homes on acreage with 30 to 50 minute commutes. If you want top tier schools and 1 to 2 acres without spending $1.2 million, look at North Coventry or East Coventry in Chester County. Owen J. Roberts schools with reasonable commutes to the 422 corridor. If you want Central Bucks schools and 2 to 3 acres, look at Plumstead Township. You'll pay more, but you're getting one of the best districts in the state plus proximity to Doylestown. If you want the best value in Upper Bucks with flatter, more usable land, look at the Quakertown area, specifically Milford Township. Every one of these townships offers a different lifestyle trade-off. Your commute, your schools, your daily lifestyle, your land use, all of it changes based on where you buy. If you want help figuring out which of these actually fits your life, the link to book a call is below. And if you're early in the research, the relocation guide is right there too. Now, if you watch this video and realize you don't actually need 5 acres, you just want a nice yard, walkable downtown, and good schools without the hour-plus commute, watch this video right here where I break down Newtown versus Yardley. It's the other side of this trade-off, and it'll show you what you're getting when you prioritize walkability over space. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.